The air was thick with mist as Maeve ventured deeper into the forest, feeling an unexplainable pull towards its heart. The towering trees loomed over her, their gnarled branches twisting like ancient fingers reaching for the sky. Each step she took seemed to echo the whispers of the woods, the rustling leaves forming a symphony that beckoned her closer. It was as if the forest itself was alive, breathing in sync with her heartbeat, urging her to uncover the secrets hidden in its depths. "Why do you feel so drawn here?" she murmured to herself, her voice barely audible above the soft sounds of nature. The question lingered in the cool air unanswered as she pushed through the underbrush. The mist coiled around her ankles like a playful spirit, and she let out a soft laugh, half anxious and half enchanted. Something about the forest felt familiar, as if it had welcomed her into its embrace long before she had set foot on its soil. As she walked, Maeve's mind wandered to the tales her grandmother had told her about this place. Stories of magic, of hidden paths that only a select few could see. Was it true? Did such things exist? She shook her head, dismissing the thoughts as fanciful dreams of childhood that had no place in her adult life. Yet the deeper she ventured, the more she felt the weight of those stories pressing against her heart, igniting a sense of adventure she hadn't felt in years. Suddenly, the dense thicket gave way to a clearing bathed in ethereal light. Maeve paused at the edge, her breath hitching in her throat as her eyes adjusted to the sudden brightness. The air felt different here, charged with energy. She stepped forward, curiosity guiding her, when her gaze landed on a figure standing at the center of the clearing. He was tall, with an air of quiet strength that seemed to resonate with the very essence of the forest. His hair, dark and tousled, framed a face that was both rugged and striking. But it was his eyes that captivated her the most, deep pools of amber that seemed to hold centuries of wisdom and secrets untold. Maeve felt an inexplicable connection as their gazes locked, a spark igniting between them that sent a shiver down her spine. "Who are you?" Maeve asked, her voice steady despite the fluttering in her chest. The figure smiled, a slow, knowing smile that hinted at the mysteries he held. "I am Loren," he replied, his voice smooth like honey, rich and inviting. "And I've been waiting for you." "Waiting for me?" she echoed, bewildered. "Why?" "I can sense your connection to the forest, Maeve. It calls to you just as it calls to me." He stepped closer and Maeve felt the pull intensify, drawing her nearer to him. "You have much to learn about these woods and the paths that lie hidden within them." Maeve's heart raced. "What do you mean, paths that lie hidden? I don't understand." Loren gestured to the trees surrounding them, their trunks thick and ancient. "The forest has secrets, paths that only those who truly belong can see. Each path leads to a different destiny, a different truth. It reveals itself only to those who are willing to listen." She frowned, uncertainty creeping in. "And what if I don't want to listen? What if I want to leave?" "Leaving is always an option, but it's not the path I sense you wish to take." His gaze bore into hers, and Maeve felt as if he could see into her very soul. "You're here for a reason, Maeve. The forest has chosen you." "Chosen me?" she repeated, bewildered. "I'm just a girl who wandered in. I don't have any special connection to this place." "Perhaps you don't know your own strength yet," Loren replied, his tone gentle yet firm. "But you will. The forest reveals itself to those who seek it, and it seems you are on the brink of discovery." Maeve felt a thrill race through her, mingling with the anxiety that bubbled beneath the surface. "What kind of discovery?" Loren took a step back, allowing the space between them to widen, yet the connection remained palpable. "The kind that could change everything you know about yourself and the world around you. But it is not without its dangers." "Dangers?" Maeve's voice trembled slightly, the gravity of his words settling heavily in her chest. "What kind of dangers?" He hesitated, his expression shadowed by the weight of unspoken truths. "The forest is not merely a sanctuary. It is a battleground for those who seek its power. There are forces at play that you cannot begin to comprehend, Maeve. I protect this place and all who wander within it, but even I cannot shield you from everything." Maeve felt a chill run down her spine. "What do you mean? What are you protecting me from?" Loren's eyes darkened, and for a moment, Maeve saw a flicker of something fierce beneath his calm exterior, a storm brewing beneath the surface. "There are others who would use the forest's magic for their own gain. They would not hesitate to exploit anyone who stands in their way, including you." "Why are you telling me this?" Maeve asked, her voice barely a whisper. What do you want from me? I want you to understand, Loren said earnestly, stepping closer again. Your presence here matters, Maeve. More than you realize. I want you to choose wisely. Choose. Maeve echoed, confusion clouding her thoughts. Choose what? Choose whether to embrace the unknown or retreat to the safety of the familiar. The forest will always be here, but your journey will only begin if you take that first step into the dark. Maeve's heart raced as she contemplated his words. The thought of stepping into the unknown filled her with both excitement and dread. What if I'm not ready? Then the forest will wait, Loren replied softly. But I cannot guarantee it will wait forever. Silence enveloped them, the only sound the gentle rustle of leaves in the wind. Maeve's mind swirled with possibilities, each more tantalizing than the last. She looked into Lauren's eyes, searching for answers, for reassurance. But instead she found a reflection of her own uncertainty. I don't know what to do, she admitted, her voice trembling. This is all so overwhelming. Loren stepped closer, his presence a calming force amidst the chaos swirling in her mind. You are not alone, Maeve. Whatever path you choose, I will be here to guide you. But the choice must be yours. The weight of his words settled in her heart, and Maeve felt a flicker of courage ignite within her. Perhaps the forest had chosen her for a reason. Perhaps Loren was right. There was magic to be found, and it beckoned her to explore its depths. Okay, she said, her voice steadier now. I'm willing to learn. I want to understand. Loren smiled, a mixture of pride and relief washing over his features. Then let us begin. As they stood together in that enchanted clearing, Maeve could feel the forest closing around them, enveloping them in its embrace. The adventures that lay ahead filled her with anticipation, even as shadows lingered just beyond the trees. Little did she know, the path she had chosen would lead her to unimaginable truths and challenges that would test the very fabric of her being. Secrets that might unravel everything she thought she knew about love, loyalty, and the unseen paths that connected them all. Maeve stepped into her home, the familiar surroundings feeling strangely foreign after her encounter with Loren. The comforting scent of cinnamon wafted through the air, the warm glow of the afternoon sun filtering through the kitchen window, but all she could think about was the forest and the enigmatic figure she had met there. Her heart raced, echoing the rhythm of the revelations she had experienced. She dropped her bag on the floor, her mind swirling with thoughts of Loren's captivating presence, his mysterious stories, and the unshakable connection that had sparked between them. Maeve, her mother called from the living room, breaking her reverie. Are you home? We're having dinner soon. Yeah, I'm here. Maeve replied, her voice slightly distant. She wandered into the living room, where her mother was arranging flowers in a vase, the soft colors brightening the room. Maeve sat on the edge of the couch, her fingers tracing the fabric of the cushions as she tried to ground herself in reality. Everything all right? Her mother asked, a knowing look in her eyes. You seem a bit off today. Just thinking, Maeve said, her mind still in the depths of the forest. I met someone yesterday. A boy in the woods. Her mother raised an eyebrow, a hint of concern shadowing her features. In the woods. Maeve, you know those woods can be dangerous. You should be careful. I know, Mom, Maeve replied, a hint of frustration creeping in. But he's not like that. He's different. There's something special about him. Special how? Her mother probed, setting down the flowers to give Maeve her full attention. He just knows things. About the forest, about paths that aren't visible to others. It's hard to explain, Maeve said, her voice trailing off. She felt a twinge of guilt for not revealing more, but how could she articulate the inexplicable bond she felt? Just be careful, sweetheart, her mother said, concern etched in her voice. You don't want to get involved with someone who could lead you into trouble. Maeve nodded but felt an unsettling mix of defiance and uncertainty. She wanted to explore the depths of her connection with Loren, to uncover the secrets hidden within the forest and within him. But another part of her was wary, recognizing the shadows that lurked beneath the surface of their bond. The following day, Maeve awoke with a renewed sense of determination. She needed to learn more about the forest, about Loren, and the mysteries that surrounded him. After breakfast, she donned her favorite flannel shirt and a pair of sturdy boots, ready for the adventure that awaited her. She felt as though the forest was calling out to her, its whispers urging her to return. As she stepped into the woods, Maeve felt an electric thrill run through her. The trees towered overhead, their leaves rustling softly in the breeze, creating a melody that resonated with her heartbeat. She followed the familiar path she had taken the day before, but as she ventured deeper, something felt different. The trail seemed to shift beneath her feet, twisting and turning in ways she couldn't quite comprehend. "Okay, this is strange," she muttered to herself, glancing around. The sunlight filtered through the branches, casting dappled shadows on the ground, and yet the atmosphere felt thick with anticipation. She paused, taking a deep breath to steady herself, and closed her eyes for a moment, allowing the sounds of the forest to wash over her. But when she opened her eyes, Maeve was met with a sight that sent chills down her spine. Before her stood a vision of Loren, but he was shrouded in shadows, his features obscured and his expression unreadable. The air around him crackled with energy, and the forest seemed to pulse in response to his presence. "Loren," she called out, her voice tentative. He turned to her, but the warmth she had felt before was replaced by a coldness that sent her heart racing. "Maeve," he said, his voice echoing oddly as if coming from a great distance. "You shouldn't be here." "Why not?" she demanded, stepping closer. "I came to find you. I need to understand what's happening between us." His eyes, usually so vibrant, were now clouded and distant. "This place, it's not safe for you. You must leave." "Leave?" Maeve felt a wave of confusion and anger. "You can't just tell me to leave without explaining anything. What are you hiding?" The shadows around him seemed to deepen, wrapping around him like tendrils of darkness. "It's not about hiding, Maeve. It's about protecting you. There are paths here that can lead to danger, paths I've walked that you cannot comprehend." "Danger?" She stepped back, her heart pounding. "What do you mean?" "You're scaring me, Loren." He took a step forward, the shadows flickering as he moved. "I don't want you to get caught in the web of this world. It's not just about love, it's about survival. You need to understand that." "But I want to understand. I want to be with you," Maeve insisted, desperation creeping into her voice. "I can't just walk away from this feeling." The vision of Loren faded, replaced by a thick mist that enveloped her, leaving her alone in the forest. Panic surged within her as she stumbled through the fog, her heart racing in rhythm with the uncertainty that now surrounded her. What had she just seen? Was it a warning? A reflection of her fears? Maeve turned in circles, feeling the weight of the forest's secrets pressing down on her. The trees seemed to loom closer, their branches intertwining like fingers grasping for her. She felt lost, both physically and emotionally, grappling with the feelings that had begun to take root in her heart. "Maybe I should just go home," she murmured to herself, but the thought brought a wave of disappointment. She didn't want to leave, she wanted answers. The connection she felt with Loren was too strong to simply walk away from, yet the shadows of uncertainty loomed large. With a newfound resolve, Maeve pressed deeper into the forest, determined to uncover the truth. The path twisted and turned, reshaping itself as if the forest were alive and aware of her quest. She felt as if the very ground beneath her feet was testing her resolve, and each step felt like a challenge. As she ventured further, she began to notice subtle changes in her surroundings. The air was charged with an energy she hadn't felt before, and the whispers of the trees grew louder. They seemed to be speaking to her, urging her to listen, to understand. The forest was alive, and she was a part of it, even if she didn't yet know how. "Loren," she called out, her voice echoing through the trees. "If you can hear me, please. I need you." But the only response was the rustling of leaves and the distant call of a bird. She continued onward, the determination in her heart mingling with the fear that had begun to creep in. The forest had secrets, and she was determined to uncover them, whatever the cost. Maeve sat on the worn leather couch in her best friend's living room, the faint scent of lavender wafting from a nearby candle mingling with the tension in the air. Her heart raced as she recounted her latest adventure in the forest, the words pouring out like a dam breaking. "I met him again, Loren. He's different, but in a way that draws me in. There's something about him that feels so familiar, like I've known him forever," she said, her voice a mix of excitement and confusion. Her best friend, Sarah, leaned forward, her brow furrowed with concern. "Maeve, I get that he's intriguing, but you don't really know him. He's mysterious, and that can be dangerous. What if he's hiding something? You can't just throw yourself into this without thinking it through." Maeve sighed, running a hand through her hair. But don't you feel it? The connection is real. It's like the forest itself is calling me to him. I need to understand who he is. Understanding is one thing, but getting involved with someone who carries secrets is another. You value yourself too much to step into something that could hurt you. What if he's not who he seems? Sarah's voice softened, her concern evident. Promise me you'll be careful. I promise, Maeve replied, though her heart tugged in the opposite direction. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was on the brink of something monumental, something that could change her life forever. That night, as Maeve lay in bed, the moonlight filtering through her window, she stared at the ceiling, mind racing with thoughts of Loren. His piercing eyes and the way his presence seemed to electrify the air around them haunted her dreams. She felt a pull she couldn't ignore, a need to return to the woods that whispered secrets only she seemed to hear. The next day, as soon as the sun peeked over the horizon, Maeve found herself back at the edge of the forest, her heart pounding with anticipation. The trees loomed overhead, their leaves rustling like gossiping friends. Taking a deep breath, she stepped into the shadows, feeling the familiar thrill of adventure surge through her veins. As she ventured deeper, the sunlight danced through the branches, creating an ethereal glow that made the forest feel alive. Each step resonated with the whispers of the leaves, and she followed the path that felt right, intuitively trusting her senses. Suddenly, she emerged into the same clearing where she had first seen Loren. Her breath hitched in her throat as she spotted him standing there, leaning against a tree, the sunlight casting an almost halo-like effect around him. He looked up, and the moment their eyes met, time seemed to stand still. Maeve, he said, a soft smile spreading across his lips. I was hoping you would return. I couldn't stay away, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. There's something about this place, about you, that I can't resist. Loren stepped closer, the air between them thickening with unspoken words. I need you to understand, Maeve. My life is complicated. Being an alpha isn't just about power. It's about responsibility. There are paths in this forest that I navigate, paths that are dangerous and unpredictable. She frowned, curiosity piqued. What do you mean? What kind of danger? He hesitated, his gaze flickering away for a moment as if searching for the right words. There are creatures in these woods that thrive on fear and uncertainty. They sense emotions and they can manipulate them. If they know I'm distracted or vulnerable, they can use that against me. Why are you telling me this? Maeve asked, her heart racing. You can't just drop a bombshell like that and expect me to understand. It's important you know what you're walking into, Maeve. You're not just stepping into my world. You're stepping into a realm where your emotions can be weaponized. I don't want to drag you into something that could hurt you, Loren said, his voice low and serious. Maeve's heart ached at his words, but she felt a flicker of defiance ignite within her. I'm not afraid of the unknown, Loren. I want to be part of your world, to understand it. I want to stand by you. He stepped closer, the space between them shrinking until she could feel the warmth radiating from him. You don't know what you're asking for. Then show me, Maeve whispered, her voice trembling with anticipation. Show me what it means to be part of your life. Loren hesitated, and for a moment the air crackled with an electric tension. Then, without warning, he closed the gap between them and captured her lips with his. The kiss was soft at first, a tentative exploration of the connection they shared. But as they melted into each other, it deepened, igniting a fire that surged through Maeve's veins. She lost herself in the taste of him, the way he held her as if she were a precious treasure. She felt a sense of belonging she had never experienced before, but alongside it came the weight of the forest's secrets pressing down on her. As they finally pulled away, breathless and wide-eyed, Maeve searched Loren's gaze. What happens now? His expression shifted, a mix of longing and fear crossing his features. You've opened a door that can't be closed, Maeve. There's no turning back now. The forest will respond to our bond, and I can't guarantee what that will bring. I don't care, she declared, her resolve solidifying. I want to be with you no matter what it takes. Just know that love in this world can be both a blessing and a curse, he warned, his voice heavy with unspoken burdens. You may find yourself facing dangers you never anticipated. Maeve nodded, determination filling her heart. I'm ready. I'll face whatever comes as long as I'm with you. But deep down, as she looked into Loren's eyes, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on a precipice, with the forest swirling around them, hiding truths that could either bind them together or tear them apart. The weight of the unknown loomed over her, yet the warmth of his hand in hers felt like a beacon guiding her forward. The forest, with all its whispers and shadows, awaited their next move. Maeve woke with a start, her heart racing as remnants of her vivid dreams danced at the edges of her consciousness. The moonlight filtered through her window, casting a silvery glow across her room, but it was the forest that beckoned her from the depths of her mind. Each night, the dreams had become more intense, a kaleidoscope of colors and shadows that hinted at hidden truths about Lauren's past and the enigmatic powers he wielded. She could hear the whispering trees in her thoughts, urging her to delve deeper into their secrets. Determined to uncover the truth, Maeve slipped out of bed, her bare feet grazing the cool wooden floorboards as she dressed in comfortable clothes. She had to return to the forest. The connection she felt with Loren was too strong to ignore, even amidst the uncertainty that clouded her heart. As she stepped outside, the crisp air filled her lungs, invigorating her spirit. The moon hung high in the sky, casting a ghostly light on the path that led into the woods. The forest was alive with sounds, the rustle of leaves, the distant hoot of an owl, and the soft chirping of crickets. Each step Maeve took felt purposeful, as if the forest itself was guiding her toward some unseen destination. She followed the familiar path, but it felt different this time, more vibrant, more alive. The trees stood tall and proud, their branches swaying gently as if welcoming her back. When she reached the clearing where she first met Loren, her heart skipped a beat. The moonlight illuminated the space, creating a mystical aura that enveloped her. Just as she was about to call out for him, she heard a soft rustle behind her. Turning quickly, she found Loren standing a few feet away, his silhouette framed by the ethereal glow of the moon. His expression was unreadable, a mix of surprise and something deeper that made her pulse quicken. "Maeve," he said, his voice low and smooth, sending shivers down her spine. "You're here." "I had to come," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "I need to talk to you. About everything." Loren stepped closer, the tension in the air thickening between them. "Some things are better left unspoken," he warned, his brow furrowing slightly. "The forest has its secrets, and not all of them are meant for you." Maeve felt a rush of frustration. "But I can't just ignore this. I've been dreaming about it, about you. I need to understand what's happening. Why are you hesitant to share your past with me?" He hesitated, his gaze dropping to the forest floor. "The paths I walk are not what they seem, Maeve. There are dangers that come with my powers, dangers that could put you at risk." "You're not being fair, Loren," she exclaimed, anger igniting within her. "You can't just keep me in the dark like this. I care about you and I want to know everything." Loren looked at her, his eyes dark and stormy. "Caring about me could lead to your undoing. I don't want to see you hurt." The vulnerability in his voice pierced through her anger, and for a moment she felt the weight of his words. "But you're hurting me by not being honest," she insisted, her voice softening. "If we're going to make this work, you have to trust me. I can handle the truth." He took a deep breath, running a hand through his tousled hair as he paced a few steps away. "You don't understand the depths of this world, Maeve. The forest doesn't just whisper secrets. It can consume those who tread too deeply. My powers connect to it in ways you can't imagine." "What do you mean?" she asked, the urgency in her voice rising. "What happens if I do tread deeper? What's at stake?" Lauren's eyes flickered with something, fear perhaps? "There are forces in these woods that don't take kindly to outsiders. Even your presence here is a risk. And if you become entangled in my world, it could cost you everything." Maeve's heart sank as the reality of his words began to settle in. "Then why did you let me in? Why did you kiss me?" "Because I thought you could handle it," he replied, his voice strained. "But I was wrong. I can't lose you to this darkness. Some paths are better left unexplored." A heavy silence fell between them, the weight of unspoken words suffocating. Maeve's mind raced, torn between her feelings for him and the fear of what she might uncover. "So what, we just pretend this never happened? That we never met?" Lauren's jaw tightened. "It's not that simple. I care about you too, but my priorities lie with protecting you. I can't allow you to be a pawn in this game." "Is that what I am to you?" she shot back, her voice sharp with hurt. "A pawn? You think I can't make my own choices?" "Maeve, please." His voice was pleading, but the distance between them felt insurmountable. "No. You're the one who doesn't see me," she cried, her frustration boiling over. "You hide behind your powers and your secrets, thinking it'll keep me safe. But it's only pushing me away." With that, she turned on her heel, her heart pounding as she stormed deeper into the forest, the shadows closing in around her. She could feel Lauren's eyes on her, but she didn't dare look back. Her emotions swirled like a tempest, confusion battling against the fierce love she felt for him. As she walked, the forest seemed to shift around her, the trees closing in as if reflecting her turmoil. The whispers that had once seemed inviting now felt threatening, echoing her fears and doubts. She didn't know where she was going, but she needed space to think, to breathe, away from the weight of Lauren's secrets. The sounds of the forest grew louder as she moved deeper into its embrace. The wind howled through the branches, and the shadows seemed to stretch and twist in the moonlight. Each step felt like a step further away from the connection she had once cherished, and she couldn't shake the feeling that she was venturing into a territory she didn't understand. "Why is it so complicated?" she murmured to herself, frustration bubbling over. "Why can't he just trust me?" In that moment of despair, Maeve felt a flicker of something deep within her, an urge to confront whatever darkness lurked in the corners of both the forest and Lauren's heart. She had to find the truth, even if it meant facing her fears. With renewed determination, she pushed forward, ready to uncover the secrets that lay hidden in the shadows. The forest, alive with its own magic and mystery, whispered around her, urging her to embrace the unknown and follow the path she had yet to discover. Maeve stood alone in the heart of the forest, the towering trees looming like silent sentinels around her. The mist hung thick in the air, wrapping her in a cool embrace that accentuated the unease swirling in her chest. The whispers that had once beckoned her closer now felt ominous, as if they were warning her of dangers she had yet to comprehend. The encounter with Lauren had ignited an internal fire within her, a yearning that was both exhilarating and terrifying. Yet now that very fire flickered dangerously, threatened by shadows she could not yet see. As she wandered deeper, Maeve's senses sharpened. The rustle of leaves underfoot, the distant call of a bird, and the faintest hint of something else, a hum of energy, made her heart race. It was then that she caught sight of them, figures emerging from the haze, their forms shifting and indistinct like smoke. She felt a chill run down her spine. The air thickened and Maeve instinctively took a step back. "Who are you?" she called, her voice steady despite her racing pulse. The figures paused, their features slowly coming into focus. They were werewolves, she realized, their eyes glowing with an unsettling light that pierced through the fog. One stepped forward, a tall figure with a commanding presence. His voice was deep and resonant, filled with an authority that demanded attention. "We are the guardians of these woods," he said, his eyes narrowing as he studied her. "And you, Maeve, are in grave danger." Maeve's breath hitched. "What do you mean?" "I'm just exploring." "Exploring?" he echoed, a hint of a growl lacing his tone. "You are entangled with Lauren the Alpha. Do you understand what that means?" A knot tightened in her stomach. She had sensed Lauren's power, but hearing it spoken aloud made it all too real. "He's not dangerous to me," she insisted, though doubt crept in. "He cares for me." The figure shook his head slowly, disappointment etched across his sharp features. "Caring is not enough. An alpha carries burdens that you cannot fathom. His world is filled with shadows, and those shadows can consume you." "What shadows?" Maeve pressed, her curiosity piqued even in the face of fear. "What are you trying to tell me?" His gaze softened, and for a moment Maeve thought she saw sympathy there. "Lauren's power is tied to the forest, to the unseen paths. But with that power comes a darkness that seeks to claim him. If you love him, you must be prepared for the consequences." "What consequences?" she asked, her voice rising with desperation. "What could possibly happen to me?" The figure stepped closer, his presence both intimidating and protective. "The paths Lauren walks can lead to salvation or destruction. If he loses control, if his dual nature takes over, it won't just affect him. You'll be caught in the crossfire. Love is a powerful force, but it can also be a weakness. You must decide if you're willing to risk everything for him." Maeve's heart pounded in her chest. The weight of the guardian's words settled heavily on her shoulders, each syllable a reminder of the dangers lurking just beyond her understanding. She wanted to argue, to dismiss his claims as mere fear-mongering, but deep down she knew there was truth in his warning. "I have to find him," she finally said, determination igniting her spirit. "I need to talk to Loren." The guardian inclined his head, a flicker of respect in his eyes. "Then be careful, Maeve. The forest is not what it seems, and neither is Loren. Trust your instincts, but do not ignore the signs." With that, the figures began to dissolve back into the mist, their forms melting away like shadows retreating from the dawn. Maeve was left standing alone, the forest eerily silent, the gravity of the encounter pressing down on her like a weight. She took a deep breath, steeling herself, and set off in search of Loren. Navigating through the fog, she felt a sense of urgency propel her forward. Each step brought memories of their shared moments, the warmth of his smile, the intensity of their kisses. But now doubts clouded her mind. What if the guardians were right? What if her love for Loren was a danger not only to herself but to him as well? "Loren," she called, her voice echoing in the stillness. The trees seemed to absorb her words, offering no answer, no sign of his presence. Panic began to creep in as she realized the forest had shifted again, altering the paths she thought she knew. "Where are you?" she whispered, fear tightening its grip on her heart. Time slipped away, and Maeve's determination flickered with each passing moment. She could feel the forest closing in around her, the shadows deepening, and the air thickening with an unshakable tension. Just as despair threatened to overwhelm her, she caught a glimpse of movement through the trees. A familiar silhouette, tall and strong. "Loren!" she cried, relief flooding her voice, but the moment was short-lived. As she approached, she saw that he was not the confident alpha she remembered. Instead, he stood hunched as if the very weight of the world pressed down upon him. His brow was furrowed, and his eyes, those piercing, beautiful eyes, were clouded with uncertainty. "Maeve," he breathed, a mixture of relief and something darker washing over his features. "You shouldn't be here." "Why not?" she asked, her heart aching at the sight of him. "I've been looking for you. I need to understand what's happening." He shook his head, a deep frown marring his handsome face. "You don't understand the dangers you're facing. I'm not just an alpha. I'm a protector of this forest, but it comes with a cost. There are things about my nature that you don't know, things I haven't told you." "Then tell me," Maeve urged, stepping closer, her heart pounding in sync with the urgency in her voice. "I'm not afraid of the truth, Loren. I want to know, I want to understand." His eyes searched hers, a battle raging within him, and for a moment, the connection they shared felt palpable, electric. But then he stepped back, shaking his head as if to clear away the haze of vulnerability. "If you knew what I was capable of, if you understood the darkness that lurks within me, you wouldn't feel the same. I can't let you get hurt because of me. Don't you see?" Maeve pleaded, her voice breaking. "You're pushing me away. I want to be here for you. I want to face whatever this is together." Lauren's expression softened for a fleeting moment, the tension of his duality evident in the way he clenched his fists. He stepped closer again, their bodies mere inches apart, and she could feel the heat radiating from him, the raw energy crackling in the air between them. "Maeve," he whispered, his voice low and filled with an intensity that sent shivers down her spine. "You don't know what you're asking for. Loving me could lead you into shadows you're not ready to face." But Maeve refused to back down. "I'm ready," she asserted, searching his eyes for the truth hidden deep within. "I'm willing to fight for you, for us. Please just let me in." In that moment, the distance between them dissolved, and Loren reached out, cupping her face in his hands. The world around them faded, the forest holding its breath as they stood on the precipice of something profound. The tension of their unresolved issues lingered, heavy in the air, but for that heartbeat, it felt like they could bridge the chasm that had formed between them. "I don't want to lose you, Maeve," he confessed, his voice barely above a whisper. "You won't," she promised, leaning into his warmth, feeling their connection ignite once more. But as their foreheads touched, a flicker of doubt returned, reminding them both of the shadows that loomed just outside their embrace. The forest whispered around them, a reminder that the unseen paths held both light and darkness, and the journey ahead was fraught with uncertainty. The air in the forest was thick with tension, a palpable energy that Maeve could feel in her bones. She stood beneath the ancient trees, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers, and her heart raced as she prepared to confront Loren. The echoes of their previous conversations replayed in her mind, each word tinged with the weight of secrets unspoken. She had spent restless nights grappling with the knowledge she had unearthed from the shadows, the warnings from the other werewolves, the cryptic hints Loren had dropped about his powers, and the undeniable connection that bound them together. "Loren," she called, her voice breaking the stillness of the woods. She needed to see him, she needed answers. The forest seemed to hold its breath in anticipation, and the rustling of leaves whispered her name in response. Moments later, he emerged from behind a cluster of trees, his presence commanding yet vulnerable. The sunlight filtered through the canopy, casting a halo around him that made her heart flutter despite her anxiety. "Maeve," he said, his voice a soothing balm amidst her turmoil. "Why didn't you tell me the truth?" Maeve pressed, stepping closer, her fists clenched at her sides. "About your powers, about what it means for us. You've been so secretive and I can't just ignore it anymore." Lauren's expression shifted, a shadow passing over his features. "I wanted to protect you. The paths I walk are not just about me. They're influenced by the love I feel, and if I lose you," he trailed off, anguish etched into his features. "Lose me? Bren, I'm not going anywhere. But you have to let me in. You can't keep me in the dark." Maeve's voice trembled with raw emotion. The forest around them seemed to echo her desperation, the wind picking up as if urging him to speak. "I don't want to risk your safety," he replied, his tone heavy. "These paths can be treacherous. If you choose to leave, I might not be able to find my way again. I could be trapped in a maze of shadows forever." The gravity of his words struck Maeve like a physical blow. "Trapped?" she echoed, her heart pounding. "But what if we stood together? What if we faced the dangers as a team?" For a moment, Lauren's eyes flickered with hope, but it was quickly replaced by doubt. "You don't understand the depth of what we're dealing with. The forest has a mind of its own. It reacts to our emotions, our choices. And if you step away, it will respond. It could mean losing me to the dark." Maeve felt a wave of determination wash over her. "Loren, we can't live in fear of what might happen. I want to know everything, about you, about this forest, about our love. I refuse to let the unknown dictate my life." She took a step closer, her heart racing as she reached out to touch his arm. Suddenly, a flicker of light danced in the periphery of her vision, drawing her attention away from Loren. She squinted, trying to focus on the anomaly in the dense foliage. "What is that?" she asked, her curiosity piqued. Lauren's expression shifted, a mix of concern and intrigue. "Stay close," he cautioned, his voice low. "The forest often reveals things to those who are attuned to it." As they approached the glowing light, Maeve felt an electric thrill coursing through her veins. The air shimmered around them and the ground beneath their feet seemed to pulse with energy. "Loren, do you see this?" she breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. "Yes, but it's not just the light you see. It's a manifestation of the forest's magic," he explained, his gaze fixed on the luminescence. "It reacts to emotions, joy, fear, love. And right now it's responding to us." A realization struck Maeve like a bolt of lightning. What if I have a part in this too?" she whispered, her heart racing with the implications. "What if I can help you navigate these paths?" Loren turned to her, his expression a mix of awe and fear. "Maeve, you don't know what you're suggesting. The power of the forest is ancient and unpredictable. If you tap into it, there's no telling what could happen." "Isn't that the point?" she challenged, her eyes fierce. "We can't hold back from each other. Not anymore. I want to embrace this, Loren. I want to embrace us." Just then the light flickered and expanded, enveloping them in a warm glow. Maeve closed her eyes, feeling the energy surge through her, and when she opened them again she saw the forest in an entirely new light. The trees were not just trees. They were connected by shimmering pathways winding through the air like veins. "Maeve!" Loren exclaimed, his voice edged with surprise. "Your power, it's awakening. You can see the paths." "I can," she confirmed, excitement bubbling within her. "This forest, it's alive and so are we. We can work together, Loren. We can navigate this world side by side." But as realization dawned, a shadow fell across Lauren's face. "But what does this mean for you? If you embrace this power, you could be pulled into a world of darkness just as much as I am." "I'm not afraid of the dark, Loren," she replied, her voice steady. "I want to face it with you. You don't have to bear this burden alone anymore." Their eyes locked, and in that moment, Maeve felt an unbreakable bond form between them. The shimmering paths around them pulsed with life, intertwining with their hearts and souls. Together then, Loren said, a mix of hope and determination flooding his voice. If we are going to face this, we must do it as one. The forest will test us, but our love can light the way. Just as they embraced, a sudden tremor rippled through the ground, and the light around them intensified, swirling like a tempest. Maeve gasped, feeling the overwhelming energy course through her. "What's happening?" she shouted over the rising wind. "The forest senses our decision," Loren shouted back, holding her close. "It's responding to our bond. But we must be careful, it's unpredictable." With a collective breath, they focused their energy, channeling it into the pathways that surrounded them. The forest seemed to shift, the trees bending and swaying as if acknowledging their newfound bond. "I can feel it," Maeve exclaimed, her heart racing with exhilaration. "The paths are alive, Loren. We can carve our way through the darkness together." As the light enveloped them, Maeve understood the magnitude of their choice. They were not just two souls intertwined in love. They were destined to navigate the unseen paths of the forest together, bound by a power that transcended the ordinary. The forest was no longer just a backdrop to their story. It was a living entity that recognized their potential and their love. Hand in hand, they stepped forward, ready to embrace whatever came next, armed with the knowledge that together they could illuminate even the darkest corners of their world.